there's something that has been bothering me, honestly, in Malawi right now when it comes to the trending stories. Is about this person called Susu. You were just telling me very recently that he's Luku, like Luke, but with a dash, right? Like L.
Yeah, like with a space. So his first name is Lu and his name is Ku, as in Ke, Luke.
Luke.
Yeah.
Okay. Just break it to us, man. What was this guy doing? What has been happening, man? Because this is so, as far as I know, it's so dehumanizing and so bad about the whole thing of being a Malawian and then experiencing racism in your own country.
Yeah, I actually saw the video the time it came out. I was on a Saturday, and I think I was home. I had nothing. I was just chilling, and I saw the BBC I report.
Yeah.
So I love watching like most of the reports that come out there. Like jumped on it first time and like started watching the whole story. Yeah, it's bad to see all the stories that were covered in that report. According to the investigation that was done, and seeing this guy trying to make kids do videos and putting these videos on different social media platforms in China and making money out of that. I saw kids that there's one boy who was more like the main actor in most of his videos.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there was an interview with the mother and the boy himself. I felt very bad. And yeah, when you think about the bigger picture of how we have embraced the Chinese amongst us, and to have those just because people don't understand what the person is telling the kids say and all that. Yeah, it's crazy that it actually went to that extent where he's trying to degrade these kids based on their race and all that.
Okay. For those that maybe may not know the story, so there's a Chinese man who has been around in some communities within Lilongwe in Malawi who has been getting videos of young people telling them to say stuff that they're not sure of what it is, and then using those videos to make money as part of his fundraising in the way of supporting them. But eventually, as the report uncovers, it seems that this person was not giving the money to the kids. Apparently, he would make millions, but he would give, I think, $1 a year?
Yeah, less than $1. It was 100 kwacha, because there were like videos that were done undercover trying to find out kuti goda down vangajani. Yeah, so there were videos that were actually recorded of him distributing 100 kwacha notes to these kids.
Come on, man.
and things like those. So
it's crazy, man. It's good. The crazy thing about racism, right, is that it leaves you outside the humanity.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like you're outside of a person, like you're an animal. Not to say that animals shouldn't be regarded as things, right? But in a way that you're not regarded as a human being, sort of say.
Yeah, like when you hear what he was telling the kids to shout, things like I'm a black monster.
Come on,
I'm a black devil. I have a low IQ. Yeah, when you think about it, you actually now realize that I think we have deeper problems with in this world than maybe what we pay attention to mostly.
Yeah.
Because the parents and the guardians for these kids did not bother. They thought, oh,
everything is okay.
A very good, willing man trying to play with our kids and do these videos for whatever. A friend to the underprivileged in those areas where when he was actually abusing the kids.
It's crazy, man. You see, if you have traveled, I know you have traveled, you know that racism is a huge thing when you're outside the borders of Malawi. There is racism, of course, but when you have moved outside Africa, so to say, you see this thing happening. And sometimes you tend to understand it's bad, but the reality of being a black person is knowing that you're going to be disregarded at some point. You're going to be looked down upon, and it's painful when you see that happening. But
within you now, when it happens now within your own
country.
house, your own house basically, because this is in their village. Just picking these kids outside their houses, and you wonder now, like, okay, what influence or what control do we have over ourselves, our kids, and who we are as Malawians in this case, and as Black people? So it's crazy, and it's a very, I think it's a very complicated story, because the two governments are trying to make sure that things look good on each side from different perspectives.
They're trying to have to protect a we call it what? Diplomatic crisis, right?
Yeah.
But I hear this, and it doesn't say that all Chinese people are bad.
No,
right?
It's
it doesn't
just
say
like
that. All Malawians cannot be bad.
No.
But we have seen, I think, time and again, the Chinese coming through. We have heard stories of Chinese people who have been employing people in their shops and then doing some sort of awkward things to people, specifically girls in those areas, those spaces. And then we're seeing this situation about kids. And the other thing that is so painful is I heard that this person was given clearance to some extent. I don't know who did that, and I'm not sure if that story is true.
I was given clearance to
operate in the area. So apparently in the story, when they were now engaging later on the parents, they were told that the Minister of Gender somehow was involved in clearing this person to work with the kids. You see, you don't work with the kids in Malawi, as far as I know, according to the laws.
There are all safeguarding issues and child protection issues that need to be adhered to. We've both worked for international organizations, and we know how strict it is to work with kids. There has to be an adult who understands what's happening inside where you are interacting with kids, no matter what programs you're doing. So safeguarding issues, child protection issues need to be adhered to, and it's awkward. I just saw the report that the mother of the kid that I was talking about was telling people that were demonstrating area that they did not understand, and there have been people, like you said, that have gone in this to Njewa, and they knew this Susu guy had been interacting with the kids, and they didn't sound any alarm. It was like everything is okay with them. So
what people may not know, because I have a privilege of being in Njewa, right? If you go in Njewa right now, you're going to find so many warehouses. So people, most of the Chinese people who do business in Malawi, which is a good thing. We're happy. We have seen so many developments that the Chinese have done in Malawi, and they still do, right? In this bilateral relationship that is there. But most of these guys that are doing business, they have warehouses and they have homes there. And I remember I went to one of the community in the area, and I noted there's this kind of divide, right, of the rich side and people that are so poor. So if you go there, you're going to find the road that demarcates. This is a community where people are who have no access to opportunities like the rest of the people in this side. And who stays this side? There's these Chinese within these warehouses where they keep their materials, but they also stay there. And for me, I felt like it's a bit dangerous. Because kids that are vulnerable from this end, they are so close to these guys who checks what is happening in these communities to make sure that there is a bit of safeguard and there's nothing of exploit that happens. And here we have a situation that tells us that stuff has been happening for a long time and we're not knowing that.
And we have one situation that has been undercovered. This is in one area. Of course, we can throw all our attention and energies on one individual in this case. But the question that we should be asking is, how safe are our kids everywhere?
Yes.
Everywhere where they are. This is just one situation. How many other people, not just Chinese, but how many other people,
how many other races come to Malawi and abuse Malawians by the virtue of them being black people?
Exactly.
Or they're breathing the air that is within Malawi and taking advantage of that. How many people are so racist to Malawians in the workplaces?
Exactly.
How many people are racist to Malawians in their shops, in so many places of business?
Workplaces, everywhere. So it's
crazy, man.
It's a big issue, and I think these are conversations that we need to really be having right now.
Yeah.
When we talk about racism, race, and even when it goes down to tribalism within ourselves.
It's a big thing.
It's okay to look at Susu, oh, he's a Chinese, so because the Chinese are this and whatnot, but do we do a retrospective into even us as Black people, as Malawians? How do we treat other people? I don't want to be biased by just looking at what happens with one person, by looking at the bigger picture. There was another incident that has happened in Mulanje just this week again, where we've got these Egyptians who sell pots, kitchenware, electronics and stuff. And I think he sold some things on credit in Mulanje at one school. So he went there to look for his money from a teacher, and then the teacher couldn't pay. The reports say he assaulted the teacher, and the whole community, the whole school kids came out, ascended on this guy, and I think he was beaten, his car was smashed. I saw the pictures. And these are the questions that we should be asking. What are we telling our kids? Because that scenario creates something that lasts forever in their brains, in their minds, that you know how they will talk about it in their community. They could celebrate it like, oh yeah, but in a society where we need to be civilized and human, is that the way to like tackle issues? Is that how we should like tackle when there are differences? So it's the same thing that we just need to really think deeply about the situation where, because these are also kids, they are students,
the kids, and they're exposed to this kind of trauma in a way, this kind of experience of a teacher being abused, one, which is a wrong thing, but also a presence of them being the assaulters,
now reiterating to what they had seen, and then they think this is the best way to defend, this is the way to actually react to this situation. So it's a whole
crisis when it comes to how we look for our kids, and when it comes to what is it that we're doing as Malawi to make sure that we're instilling the morals in our kids, but also we're protecting our kids from predators.
Exactly.
If this is happening, issues that have been uncovered by, of course, one of our own Malawian journalists, but with support from the British BBC media, I think the question we can always have, and I think it's something that we can always think about, is what is still happening now. These are issues to do with money, issues to do with people fundraising, but there are things that people can talk about, like rape. These issues,
other forms of exploitation, sexual harassment, and all that.
There's so many of those things that are happening that people are not talking about, but it's racism. And racism is bad. But we hope, we've heard that Susu, this guy, has been arrested in Zambia, and we hope that he's going to face the justice.
We hope he creates a good example for the rest of other people that I think are actually doing these kind of things, and even beyond that. Laws of a country like Malawi need to be respected, and also the rights of children need to be protected.
And I hope now the Ministry of Gender, Children, and the rest of those things that they put at the end will now take an active role to have a serious check on these safeguards that we have when it comes to our kids.
You can't use them on few people and then leave others to just go and do whatever they want. There are all these restrictions and all that when big organizations go out to do projects. They try, but if you leave an individual who is probably not documented even well, and you leave them to take care of, to be interacting with kids like that, you put them at the mess of being exploited. So let's hope Madam Kariati is going to take
Act
this.
on this
We
issue.
know how active she is, so
Yeah.
we'll be looking out to her ministry to see what's happening there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think this will set a precedence to how we, as a country, the diplomatic relations versus safeguarding people, we can pray around this. It's a good story to follow. And we'll follow it. If something happens, we'll come to report and talk about this later on.
Great.
Cool.